The soda hit her
did you do?
cream
He
blouse
threw it.
before
It
the
was a
laughter
joke.
did.
That wasn't
Nobody
funny.
asked you.
A regional
Put the
manager
cup down.
raised the
You're part
empty
of the team
cup
now.
like a trophy,
Say that again.
while
Repeat the
30
joke. Excuse me?
employees
Repeat it.
stared at
You're
the floor.
overreacting.
For everyone. She said repeat
Why
it.
did the
Stay out of
quiet
this.
black
Why are you
woman
backing away?
refuse to wipe it
Then
away?
explain what was funny.
Answer her.
Why did she
Come on,
ask
laugh.
him
Just
to
stop.
repeat the
It was
joke
team
for
building.
the
Throwing a
security
drink?
You
camera?
people take everything personally.
Don't
And
say
why
that.
did
Everybody
the
back to
HR
work.
Nobody
director
moved.
suddenly
I'm the
look
manager. Then act
terrified
like
when
one.
the
The camera
elevator
saw
doors
it. Repeat
opened?
it for the camera.
What camera?
Above the
She
door.
had entered
Everyone
the
return to
building
work.
as
Is it
someone
recording?
everyone
Security handles
believed they
security.
could dismiss.
The red light is off.
But the
Enough.
man
Who turned it
walking
off?
toward
Move this. Send
them knew
deliveries
exactly
downstairs.
who
Wait.
she was.
What happened here?
And
Minor
what
misunderstanding.
this
Don't
moment
answer for me.
could cost
She disrupted
them
the meeting.
all.
He threw the drink.
We're handling it.
Stay to the end,
did this?
because
It
the
slipped.
truth
He
behind
raised the
her
cup first.
She
silence
took it personally. I wasn't asking
changes
you.
the
We should speak
company
privately.
They all watched.
forever.
We did. He aimed.
They're exaggerating.
The
Stop
last
talking.
drop
Ask him
of
what
soda
happened.
Why is your
gathered at
badge
the edge
beside
of
her?
Nia's
Because you never
cup
asked who she
and
was. So we
fell
can
onto
explain.
the
Can
gray
you? She's a
carpet.
contractor.
No, the camera light.
No
It's
one
recording
moved.
now. You know her. Better than you
Trent
understand.
Hale
Repeat the
still
joke.
held the empty cup at shoulder height, his grin fixed for an audience that had stopped giving him one. Employees stood around the conference tables beneath buzzing fluorescent panels. An ice cube spun beside Nia's shoe. Nia set her leather notebook on the nearest table. "Could you repeat the joke?" Trent blinked. "What?" "For the camera." She nodded toward the black dome above the glass doors. "You said this was funny. Explain it again." Tessa Reed stepped backward, pressing a blue folder to her chest. Trent lowered the cup. "It was a team-building bit. Don't make this dramatic." "You threw a drink at me." "It slipped." "You raised it first." Dana Mercer crossed the room, her heels striking taps. "Everyone, return to your stations. Now." No one obeyed. Dana's gaze moved from the stain across Nia's cream blouse to the ceiling camera. "Ms. Bennett, we can discuss your interpretation privately." "My interpretation?" "This workplace depends on flexibility." Nia's fingers rested beside the notebook. "Does flexibility mean accepting whatever a manager calls a joke?" Trent gave a thin laugh. "She walks in with a temporary badge and starts interrogating people." Omar Hayes stood near the side door, holding maintenance forms. He opened his mouth, then closed it when Trent looked at him. The top page trembled against his thumb. Nia noticed. She also noticed the camera's red light was dark. "Is that recording?" she asked. Dana answered too quickly. "Security handles security." The elevator bell sounded beyond the glass doors. Trent turned. "If that's another delivery, send it to the service entrance." The doors opened. Adrian Cole entered with his charcoal jacket unbuttoned and a board packet under one arm. Rachel Voss followed, speaking into her phone until she saw the room. Adrian's eyes found the cup, the ice, then Nia. His face changed. He crossed the lobby without greeting anyone. "Sir," Trent said, straightening. "You caught us in a minor misunderstanding." Adrian stopped several feet from Nia. His gaze dropped to the stain, then to the silver compass at her throat. "Who did this?" Trent spread one hand. "It was harmless." She took it personally. Adrian looked at him. "I wasn't asking you." Nia lifted the notebook before the wet table edge touched its pages. "I asked him to repeat the joke for the camera." Dana stepped closer. "We should move upstairs." "They watched it," Nia said. A phone vibrated beneath Tessa's folder. She clutched it tighter. Adrian heard it. "Did anyone preserve what happened?" The room tightened around the question. Trent's smile vanished. "Preserve? Adrian, she's a contractor." Adrian removed the owner's badge and placed it beside Nia's temporary pass. The plastic made a hard click. "She is not a contractor." Dana's lips parted. Trent looked from the two badges to Nia, searching her face for the answer she had refused to give him. Adrian's voice stayed low. "The woman you just humiliated is my wife." Nia did not look at him. She watched the dark camera above the door, and 3 seconds later, its red light came back on. "You're leaving before 7?" Adrian stood in the kitchen doorway, fastening one cuff while rain whispered against the dark windows. The clock read 6:45 a.m. Nia sat at the island with both hands around a white mug. No steam rose from it. I need to reach Charlotte before the shift changes. You could go in as yourself. Then I'd learn how people behave when they know who's watching. He took the stool opposite her. I told the board we're reviewing the complaints. You told them they looked isolated. I said the data was inconclusive. Nia turned the mug so its handle faced him. 11 people used the same phrase. I didn't want to become difficult. The office has the best retention numbers in the division. Numbers can be trained. So can suspicion. The refrigerator motor clicked off. Rain tapped the glass. Cold coffee scented the room. Nia placed a folded counseling card beside her mug. Their appointment time, 7:30 p.m., was written in blue ink. I moved it once already, she said. I know. Do you? I'll be there. You said that last Thursday. The acquisition call ran over. You chose not to leave. Adrian looked toward the windows. Are we talking about the company or us? Nia tasted the coffee, now cold, and set it down without swallowing. That depends on whether you still think they're separate. He rose and crossed to the counter. A sealed envelope waited beside her notebook. Inside were temporary credentials under Bennett, her maiden name, and a field brief mentioning neither ownership nor marriage. If Trent Hale recognizes you, he has never met me. He may have seen a photograph. Not a recent one. Your communications team made sure of that. That was your choice. It was our agreement. His cufflink clicked against the stone. Nia slid the envelope into her notebook. I need 48 hours without interference. No call to Charlotte. No warning Dana Mercer. And if something goes wrong, I document it. That isn't an answer. It's the answer employees have been forced to accept. Adrian stepped nearer, though the island stayed between them. Nia. She folded the counseling card along its old crease. If you overrule me today, I'll finish the audit, she said. But I won't come back here pretending this is only work. His hand flattened on the counter. His wedding band scraped softly against the stone. A horn sounded outside. Adrian glanced at the card. Tonight, 7:30. Nia slipped it into the inside pocket of her navy blazer, behind the silver compass pendant resting against her cream blouse. Tonight, she repeated. At the front door, she pulled on her raincoat. Adrian remained beside two untouched cups. Bennett, he called. She turned. He held up the temporary badge that had slipped from the envelope. Beneath Field Observer, the department line was blank. Is this what you wanted? Nia took it. The plastic felt cold against her fingertips. No, she said. It's what they're allowed to see. At 8:12 a.m., she entered Harbor Point's regional lobby. A sandy-haired manager glanced at the blank department line, pointed toward a stack of archive boxes, and said, Good, the temp finally showed up. The temp finally showed up. The sandy-haired man pointed at 6 archive boxes beside the security desk. His tie was loose, though it was barely 8:15 a.m. I'm Nia Bennett, Field Observer. He glanced at her badge. It twisted on its cord, showing the blank side. Trent Hale, Regional Operations. Those go to Storage B, then Conference Room 3. My assignment is to observe employee procedures. Today, the procedure is moving boxes. The lobby smelled of wet coats and lemon cleaner. Nia lifted the top box, its cardboard edge pressed into her palm. A woman hurried from the elevator, carrying 2 tablets and a ring of keys. Tessa Reed, 29, shift coordinator, Trent said. She'll show you where the useful people work. Tessa's eyes flicked to the badge, blank again. Field observer? That's what the paperwork says, Trent replied. I'll take 2 boxes, Tessa said. You have reports due. So does she. Trent's smile held too long. Then move faster. The service corridor was colder than the lobby. Fluorescent tubes hummed overhead. Tessa waited until the lobby doors shut. He does that with everyone new. Assigns boxes? Decides what they are. At the steel door marked Records, Tessa swiped her card. Red light. The second swipe worked. Inside, metal shelves held binders labeled by quarter. Several complaint folders sat beneath a carton marked Team Events. These aren't on the index, Nia said. Tessa lowered her box. Dust lifted into the cold air. I should get back. Who files them? HR? Dana Mercer? Tessa glanced at the door. You ask direct questions. I was hired to. No one here likes direct. An older black man in gray work clothes appeared with a maintenance tablet under one arm. His patch read Omar. Omar Hayes, 55, Tessa said. Building operations. Omar tested the reader, then looked at Nia's boxes. Want a cart? Before she answered, Trent's voice carried down the corridor. She can manage. Omar kept one hand on the handle, then let go. How long has the reader failed? Mia asked. 3 months, Omar said. 6 weeks, Trent corrected as he entered. Omar studied the floor. Trent tapped Nia's badge. It spun and settled blank side out. Conference room 3, now. Dana Mercer waited there in a charcoal dress, aligning pens beside a yellow legal pad. Silver marked one temple. Ms. Bennett. Her eyes stopped on the surname, only for a breath. Then she smiled. I understand there's confusion about your scope. My scope is in the authorization packet. Dana opened it. Her thumb paused over the signature page, bearing the trust office approval. She turned it face down. Access here is coordinated through management. Independent observation usually isn't. Trent leaned against the wall. See? Direct. Nia unclipped the badge and placed it printed side up. Dana looked at it, then at Nia's silver compass. You'll wait in the east corridor until we confirm permissions. How long? As long as necessary. Through the glass wall, Tessa passed carrying a blue folder. She slowed when she saw Nia being sent out, then kept walking. Dana closed the packet, but not before Nia saw her slide the signature page beneath the legal pad. Dana carried the authorization packet away before Nia could ask about the missing page. The east corridor had no chairs, only a ledge beneath a poster. Respect starts here. Cold air spilled from a ceiling vent and lifted Nia's twists. Behind the wall, a copier clicked every 12 seconds. Trent set 2 archive boxes at her feet. You can wait productively. I was told to wait for access. You were told to follow direction. Nia lifted the top box. Rough cardboard dragged across her palm, deepening the red line left by the first stack. Where do these go? West Records. That room requires a badge. Then wait until someone useful passes. He turned away. Why did Ms. Mercer remove my approval page? Trent stopped. You're here to observe procedures, not invent conspiracies. I watched her hide it. You watched an HR director organize paper. 2 analysts approached from the elevators. Their conversation died when Trent looked at them. And you don't interview staff without permission, he said. No private questions, no wandering, No recording. Those restrictions aren't in my brief. They are now. The analysts passed without meeting Naya's eyes. At 9:04, Omar appeared with a maintenance cart. A folding chair lay across the bottom shelf. "You still standing?" he asked. "For the moment." He pulled the chair free. Its metal legs scraped over the tile. Trent's office door opened 30 feet away. Omar froze. "You repairing furniture now?" Trent called. "Vent inspection." "Then inspect the vent." Omar folded the chair. The latch snapped shut. "Sorry," he murmured. "You don't owe me an apology." His eyes dropped to her palm. "No," he said. "Maybe somebody else does." He pushed the cart away. One wheel squeaked at every turn. At 9:31, Tessa entered with shift reports. "Did Dana clear you?" "Not yet." "That usually takes 10 minutes." "It has taken 76. Tessa glanced toward HR. "Your packet was complete when I scanned it." "Including the trust authorization?" "Yes." A door clicked behind her. Trent stepped into the corridor. "Tessa, reports." She handed them over. "Ms. Bennett asked about the packet," Tessa said. "I told her it's being reviewed." "You told her not to speak to employees," Nia said. Trent's jaw tightened. "And yet here we are." "She asked one question," Tessa said. "Then you gave one answer too many." The fluorescent tube flickered, draining color from their faces. Trent pointed down the hall. "Back to scheduling." As Tessa passed Nia, she slid a yellow note beneath the notebook. Nia waited until the glass doors closed. "Check the complaint index." Dana returned with the packet. The signature page was back, but a black line crossed out independent employee access. Nia touched the ink. It smeared onto her fingertip. "I didn't authorize this." Dana offered a pen. "Initial it and we can continue." "If I refuse?" "You remain here." Vent air blew colder. Nia looked at the poster, the boxes, and the pen between Dana's polished nails. She did not take it. Dana's smile thinned. "You're making this difficult." "No, I'm making it documented." Dana's eyes dropped to the notebook. Then, from inside Trent's office, a document shredder started. The shredder stopped before Dana reached Trent's door. Nia closed her notebook. "What was destroyed?" "Outdated duplicates," Dana said. "The complaint index?" "You're waiting for clearance, Ms. Bennett." At 9:42, Dana left with the altered authorization beneath her arm. The corridor smelled of hot paper. Behind Trent's door, someone laughed. Tessa appeared, carrying the blue folder against her ribs. "Storage B," she whispered. "I'm not cleared." "You are for boxes." They crossed the west corridor. Inside records, cold air pressed through Nia's damp blouse. Tessa shut the steel door, but left it unlatched. She opened the folder on a cabinet. The official complaint index listed 4 entries for the quarter. Then she unlocked her phone. There were 12. Nia compared dates. 8 are missing. Reclassified. As what? Coaching conversations, attendance concerns, personality conflicts. Who changed them? HR signs off. Trent supplies the wording. A shadow moved beneath the door. Tessa slid the phone under the folder. A red recording dot glowed through the gap. Trent entered. "Private meeting?" "I'm showing her the filing system," Tessa said. "You're a shift coordinator, not legal counsel." Nia turned one page. "Why does entry 7-14 reference a witness statement that no longer exists?" "Because it was withdrawn." "By whom?" "The employee." Name? You don't need it. Then how can I verify withdrawal? He stepped closer, mint gum sharp on his breath. You verify what management gives you. The red dot kept blinking. Tessa's thumb trembled against the cabinet. Naya closed the folder. Understood. Trent smiled. Good. Team meeting at 11. Be there. Why? So everyone understands your role. After he left, the latch clicked against the frame. Tessa pulled out the phone. You agreed with him. I needed him to leave. The timer showed 3:18. Entry 7-14 was mine. Naya waited. He mocked an employee during a shift briefing, she complained. Dana called us separately. The next day, the woman signed a transfer request. Did she withdraw it? No. Can you prove the original entry existed? Tessa opened the complaint system on a dusty desktop. The monitor buzzed. She searched the number. A notice appeared. Record removed by administrator. I copied it once, Tessa said. Then my draft vanished. Naya pulled a chair toward the keyboard. Deleted drafts often leave recovery files. You know this system? I know badly designed systems. She opened the local cache, sorted temporary files by time, and found an untitled document. The first line appeared in fragments, then sharpened. Employee reports repeated public ridicule by regional manager. Tessa covered her mouth. Naya saved the file locally and printed one copy. The printer coughed, rollers dragging paper through with a dry rasp. Don't email it, Naya said. Not yet. Why are you helping me? Because someone expected deletion to end the story. Footsteps approached. Tessa folded the printout beneath the blue cover. The red recording dot still blinked against the paper's edge. At 11, Trent would have a room full of witnesses, and now one of them had decided not to look away. At 10:58, employees filed into conference room 4 beneath buzzing lights. The air smelled of coffee, toner, and citrus cleaner. Trent stood at the front with a paper cup in one hand. Let's keep this quick, he said. We have an observer joining us. Nia entered with her leather notebook under her arm. Tessa sat near the wall, the blue folder on her lap. Omar remained by the door with a maintenance checklist. Trent pointed to an empty chair beside the whiteboard. There, where guests sit. I was assigned to observe operations, Nia said. And you are observing. A few people smiled without showing teeth. Trent wrote Team Fit across the whiteboard. Every new person shares one mistake they made this week. It builds humility. I'm not part of the team. That sounds like your first mistake. A laugh came from the back row, then died. Trent faced Nia. Come on, one mistake. I accepted an altered access form without making a copy first. Dana, seated near the head of the table, lifted her eyes. Trent's marker squeaked. That's not the spirit. It's accurate. He set the marker down. Fine, we'll help you loosen up. On a side counter sat sodas left from lunch. Trent picked up a cup beaded with condensation. Tessa's phone shifted beneath the blue folder. Dana noticed. No recording in staff meetings. It's my schedule app, Tessa said. Close it. Nia looked at Trent. What are you planning? A harmless initiation. I'm declining. The room went still enough to hear the air vent open. Trent raised the cup. You people take everything so seriously. Put it down, Dana said, without authority. He smiled at the room, waiting for permission no one gave. Then he tipped the soda across Nia's cream blouse. Cold liquid struck below her collarbone and ran beneath her navy lapel. An ice cube hit the floor, bounced, and spun beside her shoe. For 1 second, nobody breathed. Trent raised the empty cup. Now she's officially part of the team. 2 employees laughed. One covered his mouth. Another stared at the table. Nia did not move. The soda smelled sharply sweet. It soaked through the fabric and chilled the skin over her ribs. A drop gathered at her cuff. "Could you repeat the joke?" she asked. Trent blinked. "What?" "For the camera." She nodded toward the dark dome above the glass doors. "You said this was funny. Explain it again." His face tightened. "It slipped." "You raised it first." Dana stood. "Everyone, back to work." No one rose. Nia opened her notebook, but its lower edge was wet. She placed it on the table. "Was this an approved team exercise?" she asked. "Don't turn this into an investigation," Trent said. "It became one when you made refusal impossible. You're a temporary observer. Then your choice should have been easier." Omar lowered his checklist. "I saw him aim." Trent turned. "Excuse me?" "I saw it." The words changed the room. Tessa slid the phone deeper beneath the folder. The red recording dot remained visible through the gap. Dana crossed toward her. "Give me the device." Tessa pressed both hands over the folder. "No." The ice cube completed one last circle and stopped against Nia's shoe. Beyond the glass doors, an elevator chimed. The elevator doors opened on 2 building security officers, not Adrian. Dana exhaled. "Conference room 2. Now." Nia picked up her damp notebook. Soda darkened the page edges. Tessa stood with the blue folder against her chest. "She stays," Dana said. "She recorded the incident," Nia replied. "That is why she stays here." Trent set down the empty cup. "This has gone far enough." Omar's checklist crackled in his hand. "You threw it!" "I made a joke." "You aimed!" One officer shifted his weight, waiting for Dana. "Escort Ms. Bennett," she said. "No one leaves until HR establishes what happened." Nia walked without resistance. Cold soda pressed wet fabric against her ribs. Inside the small conference room, Dana locked the frosted glass door. "Sit." "I'll stand." "You disrupted a required meeting, challenged a manager, and encouraged unauthorized recording. He poured a drink on me after I declined." Dana opened a yellow pad. "Did he touch you?" "The drink did." "That is not what I asked." Mia placed the notebook on the table. A sweet chemical smell rose from its wet cover. Dana wrote, "You arrived confrontational. I arrived with an authorization page you altered." The pen stopped. "You cannot prove that." "The ink was wet." Dana leaned back. "You misunderstand ordinary workplace behavior." A knock sounded. Trent entered without waiting. "I drafted the summary," he said. "The cup slipped during a team exercise. She reacted aggressively." "Read the part where I refused." "There was no refusal." "Tessa recorded it." Trent looked at Dana. "Then delete it." "We will secure the device," Dana said. "You mean erase evidence." Trent stepped closer. "You are a temporary contractor with no authority here." Nia touched the silver compass at her throat. "Then why are you trying so hard to control what I saw?" Only the ventilation fan answered. Dana held out her hand. "Your badge." Nia placed it beside the notebook. An officer scanned it at the wall terminal. "Access revoked," flashed red. "You are suspended from the premises," Dana said. "On whose authority?" "Mine." "And my notes?" "Company material." "They are my observations." Trent reached for the notebook. Naya's hand closed over it first. The room slowed. A drop slid from her cuff, struck the table, and spread between their fingers. "Let go," Trent said. "No." Dana turned to the officer. "Secure it." He hesitated. "Is there a property receipt?" Dana wrote and signed a receipt. Naya released the notebook only after he read the receipt aloud. It was locked in a glass-fronted cabinet outside HR. Dana turned the key twice. Through the glass, Tessa stood beside the second officer. Her phone was gone. Trent handed Dana his report. "Make sure she signs." Naya read the final line. "Subject caused escalation by refusing management direction." She pushed it back. "I won't sign that." "Your refusal will be noted." At 12:14, Naya tried her badge at the service exit. 2 dry red beeps answered. Behind her, the cabinet reflected the pale stripe of her stained blouse. Inside her pocket, the counseling card had gone damp. Her phone showed no reply from Adrian, and one message from Tessa. "They took everything." The service door opened onto a concrete passage washed in gray rainlight. A security officer held it while Nia stepped outside. Cold air touched her wet blouse. Sugar had begun to dry stiff against her skin. "Your vehicle is level 3. "I know." "I was told to make sure you left." "Then watch." The door shut with a magnetic thud. At 12:19, water hissed through a wall drain. Beneath a flickering light, Nia read Tessa's message again. "They took everything." She called. The line rang once, then voicemail. "Tessa, don't confront them. Use another phone. Tell me exactly what they took." She tried Adrian. His assistant answered in a whisper. "He's in the board session. Put me through. I can't interrupt the financing vote. Tell him the regional office removed an auditor, seized her notes, and confiscated a witness's phone." A pause. "Should I say who the auditor is?" Nia pressed her thumb against the counseling card in her pocket. One corner had softened into pulp. "No. Say he has 5 minutes to decide whether the numbers in that room matter more than the people behind them." She hung up. A vending machine hummed beside a bolted bench. Nia sat and unfolded the card. Blue ink bled across 7:30 until the time looked bruised. She called the counseling office. "This is Nia Bennett Cole. I may need to cancel tonight. Would you like to reschedule?" "No." The receptionist waited. Nia looked at her wedding ring. A thin line of soda had dried beneath it. "If I don't come, release the slot." She ended the call without canceling. Footsteps echoed from the ramp. Omar appeared in his gray work shirt, one hand on the rail. "You shouldn't be out here," Nia said. "Neither should you." "Did they send you?" "No." He offered a folded cleaning cloth. "For your blouse." It smelled of soap and machine oil. "Tessa's phone?" Dana locked it in HR. Trent took the folder. "The printed complaint?" "I saw him checking the pages." Nia pressed the cloth to the stain. "The meeting room camera was off. It came back on after. Who controls it? Facilities can view status. HR can request privacy mode. Can you prove when it changed?" His fingers tightened around the rail. "Maybe. That isn't enough. It's all I have." The card tore along its wet fold. Nia placed both halves together on the bench instead of throwing them away. "I came because Adrian said the complaints might be isolated." Omar lowered his eyes. "Men at the top like that word." Makes a pattern sound lonely. Her phone vibrated. Adrian. She let it ring 3 times. When she answered, boardroom voices murmured behind him. Nia, what happened? You had 5 minutes. I left the vote. After someone else told you to. Where are you? Outside the company we built. I'm coming. Don't come to rescue your wife. Come as the owner who ignored 11 complaints. Only the distant scrape of a chair answered. I'll be there, he said. You said that this morning. Nia disconnected. A second message appeared from Tessa, sent from an unfamiliar number. The phone backed up before they took it. Audio is safe. I found something else in the cloud. Below it was a file name Nia had never seen. Mercer_private_index_final. The file opened at 12:37 p.m. Nia stood beneath the parking light while rainwater ticked through the drain. Mercer_private_index_final displayed 32 entries, not 4. Each line carried a complaint number, an employee name, and a second category in red. Coaching, attendance, personality, transfer. Omar leaned closer. That's her real list. Not real, hidden. She scrolled to entry 7-14. Tessa Reed, public ridicule witness, convert to team fit concern. Below it, Dana had written, keep regional metrics clean before ownership review. She knew someone might look, Nia said. She downloaded the file to the protected audit portal. A blue bar crawled across the cracked screen. Tessa's unfamiliar number called. Are you safe? Nia asked. I'm in the stairwell. They made me unlock my phone. Did you? Yes, but the recording had already synced. Dana shared another folder with Trent. There are resignation drafts for people who never resigned. The upload froze at 83%. Nia moved toward the open edge of the garage, where cold mist blew beneath her blazer. Send links only, nothing from your work account. What if they fire me? They may try. That isn't comforting. No, it's honest. Then Tessa said, I should have said something months ago. Nia looked at the torn counseling card on the bench. Say it now. The upload reached 100%. 3 former employees had answered the protected request. Each said Dana rewrote a complaint before urging them to transfer. Nia read the confirmation number aloud while Omar wrote it on his checklist. Why paper? She asked. They can't remotely wipe my pocket. A black sedan turned onto level 3. Adrian stepped out, his jacket open. Rachel Voss behind him with a tablet. He saw the stain first. Mia, not yet. He stopped 3 steps away. Rachel glanced at the phone. The board is holding the vote. Good. Hold everything. Adrian lowered his voice. Tell me what you have. Nia gave Rachel the confirmation number. 32 complaints, 11 tied to Trent. Dana kept a private index and altered my authorization. Adrian's jaw tightened. I'll suspend them both. No. He stared at her. If you act before preservation, they'll call this a marital reaction. We need an external chain of custody. Rachel was already typing. I'll contact an outside auditor. Freeze deletion permissions first. Adrian reached toward Nia's sleeve, then stopped before touching the dried soda. I should have believed you. This is not the place to make that sentence useful. His hand fell. Omar's phone buzzed. He read the facilities alert and went pale. What? Mia asked. Someone requested access to the camera archive. Who? He turned the screen toward them. D. Mercer, Emergency Privacy Purge. Rachel lifted her tablet. I can block it if ownership authorizes now. Adrian entered his code. Purge denied. Archive locked. Above them, the service door clanged open. Tessa appeared on the landing, breathless. They found the cloud folder, she said. Trent's calling an all-staff meeting. Nia slipped the torn counseling card into her pocket. Then we go upstairs before he controls the story. The conference room doors opened before Trent finished saying, This office is under attack. 30 employees faced the whiteboard. Dana stood beside him. Above the glass wall, the camera showed a red light. Trent pointed as Nia entered with Adrian, Rachel, Tessa, and Omar. There she is, the contractor who stole confidential records. Nia stopped near the back row. Her blouse had dried stiff beneath the blazer. Read what you prepared, she said. Dana folded the page. This meeting is for employees. So was the humiliation. A chair scraped. No one looked away. Trent turned to Adrian. She disrupted operations, recorded private conversations, and threatened management. Did you throw a drink at her? Adrian asked. It slipped. Did she refuse first? That is not the issue. It is one of them, Nia said. Rachel set down a tablet. Deletion permissions are frozen. Archives, complaints, and emails are under external preservation. Dana tightened her grip. On whose authority? Adrian placed his owner's badge beside Nia's temporary pass. Mine. The plastic clicked against the wood. Trent stared. Why is hers next to yours? The woman you threw soda at is my wife. A breath moved through the room. Your wife? And Harbor Point's co-founder, Rachel said. She manages the trust holding 35% of voting shares. Dana gripped a chair. No one informed us. That was the audit, Nia replied. This was a setup, Trent said. Nia opened her recovered notebook. The pages had dried into waves. I arrived with independent authorization. Dana altered it. You blocked interviews, removed complaints, seized my notes, and ordered a recording deleted. That is her version. Tessa stood, hands shaking around the blue folder. No, it's mine too. She connected her phone to the display. Trent's voice filled the room, demanding deletion. Dana followed, promising to secure the device. Trent reached for the cable. Omar stepped between him and the screen. Don't. Tessa opened the private index. 32 entries appeared in red and black columns. A woman whispered, Mine is there. A man beside her rose. So is mine. Dana spoke quickly. Those categories were administrative. Did employees approve the changes? Nia asked. Dana said nothing. Did they see them? The vent opened. Cold air lifted Nia's damp cuff. Adrian faced Trent. You are suspended pending independent review. You can't do this because she's your wife. I'm doing it because the evidence survived you. Nia touched Adrian's sleeve. They both remain available for interviews, she said. No devices removed. No private statements. Adrian nodded. Trent searched the room for support. Every face turned from him now. Dana placed her statement on the table. Nia read the first line. Subject caused escalation. She folded it beside the badges. Preserve this too. The elevator chimed. 2 auditors emerged carrying sealed cases. Marcus Lane entered first, 50, broad-shouldered and gray-haired. He looked at the screen, Naya's stained blouse, and the silent employees. Which record did management try to destroy first? Omar reached into his pocket and lifted a small backup drive. Omar held the backup drive between two fingers. This contains 18 months of camera logs, he said. Status changes, access requests, shutdowns. Marcus Lane opened a sealed case. Foam compartments clicked beneath the fluorescent hum. Who maintained it? I did. Who knew? Omar looked at Dana. No one. A woman in a dark green coat stepped from the elevator. Evelyn Park, 51, an independent labor attorney, wore narrow glasses on a silver chain. No one edits, deletes, forwards, or removes a record without written authorization, she said. Connected devices will be copied in place. Trent folded his arms. This is theatrical. Evelyn set a notice before him. Sign. I want counsel. You may call counsel. Don't touch your phone. Dana reached for her bag. Rachel said, Leave it. The bag struck the table softly. Marcus sealed cabinets while Nia watched through the glass. Adhesive strips tore with a dry rip. The soda on Nia's blouse had turned stale in the cold air. Evelyn opened the recovered index. 11 entries reference Mr. Hale. 7 were changed. 4 vanished. Dana sat rigidly. They were resolved informally. By whom? Management. Not the employees? Dana's ring tapped once against the table. Tessa stood near the door with the blue folder. Mine wasn't resolved. Another employee raised a hand. Neither was mine. A man near the back said, I was told a transfer form would protect my record. Marcus turned. Name, department, date. The man gave all 3. The room began answering him. One person remembered a closed-door meeting. Another saved a calendar invitation. A third said Dana replaced humiliation with communication issue before filing the complaint. Naya wrote each detail in her warped notebook. Trent watched the pages fill. They're piling on because the owner is here. No, Tessa said. We're speaking because the recording survived. Omar remained beside the cabinet, shoulders rounded. Evelyn noticed. Mr. Hayes, is there more? He rubbed his thumb over the drive. Last winter, Dana asked facilities to disable the camera outside conference room 2. Dana's chair scraped. That was a confidential review. She said the sensor was malfunctioning. Was it? Evelyn asked. No. Omar's voice thinned. I turned it off anyway. Naya stopped writing. For how long? 43 minutes. What happened inside? A warehouse supervisor came out carrying a resignation form. He left his lunch bag behind. Omar placed the drive in Naya's open palm with both hands. I kept the mirror log after that. He still could not lift his eyes. Naya closed her fingers around the warm metal. You should give this to Marcus. I'm giving it to the person I failed to warn. She held it for one breath, then passed it to the auditor. By dusk, deleted emails had been restored, 11 complainants contacted, and white seals covered the cabinets. As employees left, the room dimmed one lamp at a time. Evelyn placed a hearing schedule beside Naya's notebook. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Every changed complaint will be read in its original form. Across the table, Dana looked at the 32 names on the screen. The first witness had agreed to return. At 8:57, Evelyn Park closed the hearing room doors. 11 chairs faced the table. Each held water, a folder, and a complaint. Restored files filled the wall in black. Dana's edits appeared in red. Marcus switched on the recorder. This is an independent hearing. No retaliation will be tolerated. Trent sat with counsel. Dana sat alone. Evelyn opened folder 1. Original. He mocked my accent during a shift briefing and asked whether customers could understand me. Revised. Communication coaching. Luis Ortega, 43, a former warehouse supervisor, rubbed his palms over his trousers. Did you approve that change? No. What happened after you complained? Dana offered me a transfer. Trent called it a fresh start. Trent leaned toward his attorney. That isn't what I said. Luis looked at him. You said people who fit in don't need fresh starts. Folder 2 belonged to a payroll clerk mocked for wearing the same jacket. Folder 3 belonged to a receptionist caring for her sick mother. Trent called her absences a loyalty problem. The language changed on the wall. Public ridicule became morale concern. Retaliation became scheduling adjustment. Humiliation became misunderstanding. Tessa sat behind Nia with the blue folder on her knees, marking each complaint. Dana finally spoke. I was trying to prevent escalation. People needed their jobs. A formal finding could have followed them. Evelyn turned. So you protected them by rewriting what they said? I protected the office from chaos. Marcus displayed an email. Regional retention must remain above 94%. Reclassify non-separation events before quarter close. Dana's face lost color. Adrian read it. You sent this to Trent. It was operational language. You tied complaints to retention. I tied reporting to stability. Nia's thumb moved over the silver compass at her throat, its edge pressed into her palm. Evelyn opened folder 7. Tessa's voice thinned. That one is mine. The original described Trent laughing while an employee explained a family emergency. The revision called Tessa resistant to team culture. Why didn't you appeal? Dana showed me a draft warning with my name on it. Dana whispered, It was never issued. It didn't have to be. No one moved. Nia opened her hand. The compass had left a round mark in her palm. My father once came home at noon carrying his lunch, she said. He worked at the same plant for 19 years. A supervisor mocked the way he read numbers aloud. Everyone heard it. No one signed the complaint he left in the break room. He never went back. For years he said the plant had downsized. Nia set the pendant on the table. I found out after he died. Trent's attorney lowered his pen. Nia looked at the witnesses, not Dana. A report can be edited. A person carries the missing words home. Dana's mouth opened, but nothing followed. Evelyn slid the final stack forward. Each author will choose whether the original enters the record. Luis signed first, then the payroll clerk, then Tessa. When the last folder reached Nia, every signature line was filled. Marcus sealed pages. Outside, employees lined the corridor, waiting to add names the private index had never recorded. By 3:10 p.m., the corridor list had grown to 41 names. Marcus carried the sealed testimony into the hearing room while Evelyn asked everyone else to remain outside. Through the glass, Nia watched Trent whisper to his attorney. Dana held water. Adrian closed the door behind the board representatives. Marcus began. The evidence supports humiliation, retaliation, altered complaints, and a false incident report. Trent pushed back his chair. You're calling jokes misconduct now? We're calling repeated conduct what the records show, Evelyn said. No one was forced to stay. Luis answered from the witness row. You made leaving feel like the only safe choice. Trent looked toward Adrian. You know how regional offices work. People complain when standards are enforced. Adrian rested his fingers on the report. I accepted your numbers without asking what they cost. The air conditioner clicked on. Paper edges lifted across the table. Marcus read the recommendation. Immediate termination for Trent, removal of Dana from supervisory duties, and sanctions for executives who approved retention reports without checking complaint data. Dana's cup rattled against its saucer. I never threw anything at anyone, she said. No, Nia replied. You made sure the people who did could keep doing it. Dana looked at her. I thought I was protecting jobs. Tessa stood in the doorway. Whose? Dana lowered her eyes. Trent removed his badge and dropped it on the table. It struck once. There, take it. Nobody moved. The badge remained face up between the folders. You all needed someone to blame, he said. Omar's hand tightened around his checklist. We needed someone to stop. Adrian opened the door. Leave your devices and collect personal belongings under supervision. Trent stared at Nia. This only happened because of who you married. Nia touched the warped edge of her notebook. It happened because you believed no one in that room mattered. He had no answer. After he left, Dana signed the notice removing her from office. Her fingers slipped twice on the pen clip. What happens to me now? She asked. Evelyn folded the document. You participate in the investigation you prevented. Dana glanced toward the corridor where employees waited past the elevators. I know some of their children's names. And you changed their words, Nia said. Dana's shoulders sank, though she did not ask forgiveness. At 5, Adrian faced the staff. He stood at floor level, away from the company seal. I approved reports because they were clean, he said. I called complaints isolated because that let me keep moving. That failure is mine. A man near the back asked, Are we supposed to trust another statement? No, Adrian said. Judge what changes after it. He looked toward Nia, but she gave him no rescue. When the room emptied, Trent's badge was still on the table. A cleaner entered, saw it, and wiped around it. Nia picked up the old respect poster removed during evidence collection. Its frame was cracked at one corner. Don't put that back, she told Adrian. What replaces it? She looked through the glass at Tessa, Omar, and the employees still adding names. A door that opens from both sides. At 8:05 the next morning, the cracked respect poster lay face down on the conference table. Nia stood beside it with her notebook open. The others formed a circle beneath humming lights. We are not replacing this with another slogan, Nia said. Adrian folded his hands. What do you want? An independent employee office, outside review. No manager edits a complaint without the author seeing every change. Rachel tapped her tablet. That needs new authority. It needs authority that cannot hide failure. Marcus nodded. I'll draft the structure. Evelyn added, Any transfer, discipline, or lost hours after a complaint triggers review. Adrian looked at the pale rectangle on the wall. How fast? Today. By 10, Omar measured an unused records office. Dust floated in cold light. Blue tape marked the floor. This room held archived complaints, Tessa said. Then it knows what silence costs, Omar replied. A carpenter carried in a glass door. Nia stopped him. No frosted glass. He glanced at Adrian. Clear, Adrian said. And it opens from both sides. The hinge snapped into place. The corridor smelled of sawdust and burnt coffee. At noon, department heads gathered around the draft. One vice president frowned. Anonymous complaints can be abused. So can titles, Nia said. Who decides what is credible? 3 reviewers, Evelyn replied. 1 external, 1 employee elected, 1 executive with no reporting connection. And if the complaint concerns the owner? Tessa asked. Chairs creaked. Adrian answered first. Then I receive no notice until evidence is preserved. Nia watched him sign first. The pen scratched across the paper. Leadership rotations? Rachel asked. Every executive works 1 full shift each quarter beside hourly staff, Nia said. No cameras, speeches, or advance cleaning. A director laughed. Board members answering phones? I want them hearing what reports remove. No one laughed again. At 2:30, employees lined up for the first oversight election. Tessa stood near the new doorway, twisting her blue folder. I'm not management material, she told Nia. Good. That was not reassuring. You noticed what others were trained not to see. Omar dropped his ballot into the clear box. And you kept the recording. Tessa glanced at the line. What if they think I'm only here because of what happened? Give them time to learn why you stayed. Tessa won by 23 votes. She made no speech. She took the first shift at the small desk and turned the chair toward the corridor. At 5, Nia carried the cracked poster to the loading dock. Adrian followed as rain tapped the doors. We could archive it, he said. We should. As evidence? As a measurement. He waited. So we remember how easy it was to frame a value and ignore a person. Back upstairs, the new door stood open. Tessa listened to a warehouse clerk while Omar installed a lockbox for written reports. Adrian stopped beside Mia. Does this change anything between us? She touched the damp counseling card in her pocket. It changes what you do next. The office lights dimmed. Behind the glass, Tessa opened a fresh file and wrote the date. 6 months later, that same door would still be open. 6 months later, the new glass door was still open. At 9 a.m., Tessa Reed called the first staff meeting to order in the same conference room where Trent had thrown the soda. The whiteboard showed 3 columns: complaint received, action taken, review date. No names appeared unless the employee requested them. Nia sat among the staff rather than at the head of the table. Her cream blouse was new, but the silver compass rested at her throat. In front of her stood a plain glass of water. No one moved it or reached across her place. Tessa read the monthly report. 38 complaints received, 31 resolved, 7 under external review. No complaint was reclassified without the author's signature. A warehouse clerk raised his hand. And retaliation? 2 allegations, both investigated outside the reporting line. 1 supervisor was reassigned. The other employee received the full written finding. Adrian sat in the second row beside Omar, without a reserved chair. When the meeting ended, an employee Nia had never met stopped beside her. My report stayed in my own words, he said. Nia closed her notebook. That should not feel unusual. No, he replied. But it did. At noon, Omar trained new managers in the records room. He showed them the mirrored archive, the access log, and the rule requiring 2 approvals before any camera entered privacy mode. You don't erase a hard hour, he told them. You preserve it. His old maintenance checklist hung beside the terminal, including the confirmation number from the parking garage. He still spoke quietly, but no one interrupted him. Tessa had declined a management promotion and accepted a 2-year elected term on the employee council. Her blue folder remained on her desk, worn pale at the corners. When a nervous receptionist hovered outside, Tessa opened the clear door wider. "You can sit first," she said. "You don't have to prove anything before you speak." Across town, Trent completed an employment conduct program required by the settlement. He no longer supervised staff and had taken work with the distribution company under probation. In his written statement, he admitted the drink had not slipped. He did not ask Nia to forgive him. Dana remained outside management. She spent 4 months helping investigators reconstruct altered files, then accepted an administrative role with no authority over complaints. Her final interview contained one sentence Evelyn included in the public report. "I confused a quiet office with a safe one." That afternoon, the board released its first independent culture audit. It listed failures, deadlines, executive sanctions, and unresolved cases. Adrian signed beneath a paragraph acknowledging his own failure of oversight. Afterward, he found Nia near the open office. "We'll be late," he said. "For counseling?" He nodded. "I moved the investor call." She watched him, then took the old water-damaged appointment card from her notebook. Beside it lay a new card dated that evening. 6 months, Adrian said. 6 months of showing up, Mia answered. They walked to the elevator together, not touching until the doors opened. Before leaving, Nia returned to the conference room. The glass still stood where she had left it, catching late sunlight. She lifted it, drank, and set it back in the center of the table. The door stayed open. Have you ever watched someone's words get minimized, rewritten, or dismissed because speaking up was inconvenient for those in charge? Share your experience in the comments, especially if one person's quiet support helped the truth survive. Send this story to someone who believes dignity should never depend on a title, a badge, or knowing the right person. Sometimes change begins when a witness decides not to look away. Subscribe for more stories about justice, quiet resilience, accountability, and the difficult work of changing systems, not only removing one harmful person. And as you leave, remember the open door in Nia's office. Real respect is not a slogan on a wall. It is what people are allowed to say, preserve, and question without fear.